Minnesota defensive back Koi Perich is already turning heads in the offseason. There's been a lot of talk about his ability to play both ways or about the potential of him playing both offense and defense. But should he? That's a question that I think we truly need to talk about. We'll talk about what he can do in terms of his skill set, the impact that he can have on all phases of the game, and if he should truly play on both offense and defense. Now, Travis Hunter kind of started this new wave of college football desires to have a guy play both ways. It's such a unique thing that we haven't seen that it's kind of just taking the college football world by storm. And if you have good enough ability at one position, you have enough athleticism, people are kind of testing that out. We saw that even last year with Travis Hunter. We saw another team try to do that when Ohio State was giving Caleb Downs reps at running back. People want to try different things, and in a world where people are trying to be innovative and test out the limits of their team, they're going to give guys opportunities to play in positions that they don't necessarily play consistently. Koi Perich obviously has tremendous talent. We saw his ball skills as a true freshman last year in the defensive secondary. You're looking at a guy who has all of the talent in the world to make plays. And there's a reason why teams wanted him so bad. And you saw it right away. You saw the talent at Minnesota, even just on defense. You saw what he could do, but this is also a guy who had an impact on the return game. You look at what he did last year defensively: 46 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 5 interceptions. As a kick returner, he averaged nearly 20 yards per kick return. Punt return, he averaged nearly 10 yards. This is a guy who has explosive ability, and we've seen that in multiple areas, multiple facets of the game. This offseason, he made waves when people noticed that he was wearing a half maroon, half white jersey. And instantly people were going to, is he going to play offense? Is he going to play both ways? Now, while it's fun to think about that, we also recently saw a scrimmage or whatever it actually was when he caught a deep post route, and there's a ton of excitement around his game. And when you watch him play, you see the athleticism, right? You see his explosive ability. There's no denying that. But one thing I think we have to keep in mind is that that's a lot of work for a guy like that. And even Travis Hunter obviously was a unique player who can do that. Not everybody is built for that lifestyle. And while Koi Perich may not play both ways consistently, there's also a chance that he could play in certain packages where you're trying to give the defense a different look. And if anything, the one thing that I think is smart about that is you're giving teams something to think about going into the season. So even if Koi Perich doesn't play a single rep at wide receiver this year, teams know that we have to prepare for 3 to be in at wide receiver. And that's something that maybe gives you an advantage. This offense, I think, has plenty of talent. So you don't necessarily need him to be that guy. You don't necessarily need him to be a guy to step in because you have enough talent to make that work. That being said, the wide receiver position, I think, does have opportunities for him to step in and play a role. You brought in Javon Tracy from Miami of Ohio. That's a guy I think they're really excited about. Lemeki Brockington comes back to this team as well. The one guy I think that people are sleeping on is Logan Loya. Brought him in from UCLA. Didn't have the year that he wanted, but he is someone who can get open consistently for Drake Lindsay. I think that that's going to have a huge role in their offensive success, is the passing attack and what the wide receivers can do to consistently get open for a quarterback that is stepping in for the first time as a starter. If Koi Perich is part of that, great. If not, they should be okay. Malachi Coleman is someone who they're excited about, but they're kind of waiting to see if he's truly going to be that guy. Now, if Coleman can't play the role that he needs to, that's where maybe Perich steps in. You also have other players I think that this coaching staff really likes and is really excited about. Guys like Daniel Hayes, Christian Driver, even Jalen Smith played in one game last year, but everything that I've read and has been reported, it sounds like they really like what he can do. So the wide receiver position has plenty of potential. Now, who is going to turn that potential into proven production? We don't necessarily know. Perich has shown that he can do it on the defensive side of the ball, but can you do it on offense? The other question is, can this secondary afford to give up reps to let him play offense? And it's not that he's going to get off the field, but even Travis Hunter needed a break at times. There are going to be times where he needs to be on the sideline to catch his wind. The question is, can you afford to do that? Can you afford to take your best playmaker off the field? That's going to be a big question. Now, the safety position to me is relatively set. Kerry Brown and Aiden Gooseby coming back give you a solid duo that if Perich can't go for whatever reason, they'll just be just fine. Even if Perich is on the field, those two should still be playing. And we saw that last year. They moved these guys all around the field. They'll slide those guys into the nickel position. They'll slide Perich in the nickel position. They will put them any and everywhere to make plays. And those are guys that are proven players that can do that. Now, the cornerback position, Zaquan Ryan is going to be really fun to watch. You bring in Jalen Bowden from North Carolina Central, John Nestor from Iowa. You have a true freshman in Naeem Parrish that could be exciting as well. But Parrish is someone that you have to really question, what is the value of putting him on offense, and does that exceed the cost of what it might mean if he can't play on defense? And this is a defense that I think has some work to do, but I also think people are sleeping on this defense as well. So it's really just going to come down to, what do you value the most? Are you trying to give him the opportunities to make the most amount of plays because he can do it? It's just going to be, does that actually make sense for your offense? Either way, I'm excited. This is a guy who's going to have a huge impact one way or another, whether it's just on defense, whether it's defense and special teams again, or whether it's all three facets of the game. Those are going to be things to keep an eye on. And this is a team that I think people, for whatever reason, keep sleeping on. I don't know why. I don't understand why people just automatically assume that Minnesota is going to regress. But PJ Fleck continues to, I think, put his team in good situations to win. And I think that they exceed a lot of people's expectations. And right off the bat, you have a chance to build a lot of momentum before you go to Ohio State. Now, the Buckeyes are probably winning that game, but Minnesota's proven that they can be a stingy group. And if you're going to throw in this wrinkle of our star safety may play at wide receiver, that gives Ohio State another thing to worry about, which means they take more reps away from the stuff they normally do to worry about, okay, what are we going to do if number 3 is on the field? That gives Minnesota a slight advantage that we don't really talk about. And again, it's probably not going to change the outcome of the game, but it does give you the chance to make some noise and challenge Ohio State more than people expect. After that, you don't have any games that really surprise you. You know, the Nebraska and Iowa games will be challenging. If Michigan State's better, that should be difficult. The Oregon game is another one that you probably feel like you're going to lose. But outside of the Ohio State and Oregon games, there aren't any games that you're super worried about. There are winnable games on the schedule. This is a team that can exceed expectations, and it'll be fun to see the innovative ways that they are able to make this team better. Whether that's using your star safety at wide receiver, whether that's using him in different areas, it's going to be fun to see what Fleck has under his sleeve. It's going to be fun to see what this team can do. And if Perich truly is involved in all facets of the game, that's going to build his reputation. It's also going to make that transfer portal conversation next year even more prevalent. But we don't have to talk about that yet. We're going to see what he can do. We're going to see what they use him, how they use him in whatever areas. And this is a guy that if you're not watching him already, you're truly missing out.